Hello friend, I am Professor Ganesh Kakade, PG Moje College of Engineering, Wagoli, Pune. In this subject, Fundamental of Data Structure, we need to learn unit number 1, that is Introduction to Data Structure. So let's start. So in the lecture 1, we need to learn the data structure and its classification and from problem to program. So to convert a particular problem to the program, what concept we need to learn, that is problem, solutions, algorithm, data structure and a program. So to convert the problem to the program, we have to follow these 5 steps. Now let's go to the lecture 1, that is the first topic, data structure and its classification. Before going to learn the concept of data structure or what is exactly mean of data structure, instead of that, we need to learn what is exactly mean of data. So data can be defined as elementary value or a single value or the collection of values. For example, a student name may be data or its ID are the data about the students. So data can be a single value, that is what we call as elementary value, or data can be any information, or it can be collection of all the values. When we taken the example about the data or information, that is student name and student ID, these are nothing but the example of these are nothing but the data which are related with the students, or those data we can store into the computer memory. Now here comes the role of data structure. So data structure is a particular way of organizing data in a computer memory so that we can use that data efficiently. So here we can understand the data structure means what? It is the layout for organizing the data into the computer memory. So whatever the data we have, like we have the data like student name and student ID, we can store data into the computer memory. So to store that data into the computer memory, there are number of ways, number of layout we can use those data into the computer memory. Example, we are going to create a simple a variable. We are going to create a simple variable to storing the names, to storing the ID. So that may be a character variable, that may be an integer variable. So with the help of those variable, we can store the name and ID into the computer memory. Or here we are going to create the arrays to storing those data into the memory. We are going to create the structure to store those data into the memory. So there are different ways to organize those data, to store those data into the computer memory. So those way we are call as data structure. So while converting a complete problem into the program, we need to learn the concept of data structure. Now here, yes, definitely further whole syllabus we understand the concept of data structure. Now, data structure is classified into a basic 2 categories. So classification of data structure. So we know that why we use the data structure. Data structure is the way to organize the data into computer memory. Now when we classify the data structure, it is classified into 2 major groups. The first one, primitive data structure, and the second one, non-primitive data structure. Now primitive data structure means a primitive data types what we use to store the data, those we call as primitive data structure. Example of primitive data structure like integer, like float, character and pointers. When we use those data structure to store the data into the memory, we can use only single value. A single value can be stored into the computer memory, then we use a primitive data structure there. Like if you want to store the ID, we use an integer. If you want to store the single gender, we are use the character. If you want to store the single marks, we use the data structure float. So single value to store a computer memory, we can use the primitive data structure. And second one is non-primitive data structure. So when we go for non-primitive data structure, there are various again this non-primitive data structure is classified into two broad groups. The first one is linear list and the second one is non-linear list. So linear data structure and non-linear data structure, these are the two major category of non-primitive data structure. Now when we go for linear list, so array is example of linear list, linked list, stack and queue, these are what? A linear data structure. Why those data structure is called as a linear data structure? Because of data we are organizing or we are storing into the memory in a linear fashion, maybe a row, maybe a column. So sequentially data we can store into the computer memory, means data one after another. So when we take an example array, so array is the similar type of data we can store into computer memory in a sequential format, one after another. Homogeneous data will be stored over there. So that is what we call as data we are going to arrange a sequentially manner into the computer memory. We are going to use linear data structure. The example is array, list, linked list, stack, queue. When we go for non-linear data structure, again it is categorized into two types, graph and tree structure. Now here in the fundamental of data structure syllabus, we only focus on a linear data structure. We are not focusing on non-linear data structure. So non-linear data structure, that is a graph and tree, means data we can arrange in a non-sequential manner, that is a random manner. That is what we call as graph and tree structure. Again, when we categorize a list, linked list, that linked list again divided into three major types, that is a singly linked list, doubly linked list, circular linked list. Again, the tree can be categorized into binary search tree, binary tree. Likewise, we again divide those data structure further. So here we need to know the data structure and its classification. Now the next point, that is a very important point, from problem to program. We are going to convert any problem to the program. So we are going to understand the first of all problem, analyze the problem, then find out the solution to write that problem, what are the different ways, solutions, techniques to analyze the problem, convert that solutions, convert that problem into algorithm, use a data structure and then write the program. Now here we need to know what is meant by computer. So computer is not able to find out the solution of the problem by itself, rather than it is a machine which follows the instruction which is given by the programmer to solve any problem. That is a multi-purpose electronic machine which is basically used for what? Solving the problems. Whatever the instruction given by the programmer, on the basis of that it will work. Okay, now let's go to the first, that is the problem. First understand the problem in while we writing the particular program. Okay, so we all need to face a particular problem, and once we have the problem we have to write the program. Now let's go to the first of all, instead of writing directly to the program, we need to know what is mean by problem, and on that problem we are going to convert it into the program. Now what is meant by problem? So before program is written, we are need to know what is mean by problem. It is important to define the problem. If you are writing the program, so what is that program? On what basis problem we are writing the program? मीन्स अगर कोई भी प्रोग्राम हमको लिखना हो तो वो प्रोग्राम कौन से प्रॉब्लम का है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमको वो प्रॉब्लम देखना चाहिए और उसके बाद हमको वो प्रोग्राम लिखना चाहिए. और कोई भी प्रोग्राम हम लिखते हैं तो हम फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करते हैं. दैट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क. सो हाउ टू डिफाइन द प्रॉब्लम? सो प्रॉब्लम क्या है एक्चुअली? सो प्रॉब्लम इज एन इशू, प्रॉब्लम इज एन कंडीशन, problem is an situation. So we need to solve that problem, okay, to achieve the goal, to achieve the goal. So जैसे कि हम कोई भी एग्जांपल ले सकते हैं कि what is the problem? From the 10 number find out the smallest number. From the 10 numbers we have to find out the smallest number. So that is one of the problem. So that is one of the condition, that is one of the issue, that is one of the situation. So उस situation को हमको क्या करना है? Solve करना है क्या? To achieve the goal. Now there are various steps to solve the problem. So we'll go for step by steps, different steps to solve the problem. क्या क्या steps है problem solve करने के लिए? पहला step है उस problem को हम define कर सकते हैं. So define the problem. प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करो, एनालाइज करो. सो डिफाइन क्या, ओके, उसके बाद क्या है? डेटा गैदरिंग. सो वॉट एवर द डेटा वी रिक्वायर्ड, वी आर गोइंग टू गैदर दोज डेटा. सो मेन contains the key terms, some assumption, previous experience, and also opinions of other peoples towards the problem. So such type of information we are going to gather related with the particular problem. Third क्या है problem solving steps? Decide the effective solutions. Now there are a number of ways to solve the problem. Way 1, way 2, way 3, way 4. So out of that we are going to decide effective solution. Yes, इसके लिए कम प्रोग्रामिंग कोड लगेगा. So we have to decide this one. So choose a solution which is effective and efficient. That is the next step. Fourth step क्या है? Implement and evaluate the solution. जो भी solution हमने decide किया है वो हमको क्या करना है? Implement करना है. Okay, and evaluate a process. Evaluation means what? Checking whether the solution is as per the expectation. जो हमें प्रॉब्लम एक्सपेक्टेड है, जिसका आउटपुट ऐसा आने वाला है, वी आर गोइंग टू एक्सपेक्ट दैट. सो वी आर गोइंग टू इवैल्यूएट द पर्टिकुलर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. इम्प्लीमेंटेशन मीन्स यूज द डिफरेंट लैंग्वेजेस टू रन द पर्टिकुलर प्रोग्राम एंड रिव्यू द रिजल्ट. मीन्स क्रॉस वेरीफाई द रिजल्ट बाय अप्लाइंग द वेरिएंट इनपुट्स. So here हम review the result means whatever the implementation we done, so we are going to apply some cross verification inputs. Use case 1, use case 2, use case 3. So we are going to apply different inputs to review the result, to cross verify the result. So these are what the different steps while to solve the particular problem. कोई भी problem अगर हो तो ये steps हम उसको क्या कर सकते हैं? solve कर सकते हैं. सो इस डायग्राम से भी हमको पता चलता है कि क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, सॉल्विंग स्टेप्स है. डिफाइन द प्रॉब्लम, देन एनालाइज द प्रॉब्लम, डेवलप अ प्लान, implement the plan and evaluate the plan. So like similarly which are related with the previous one. Now we are understand the what exactly problem is an issues and steps. Now we will go for the problem solving techniques. That is means by solution. So there are the different problem solving techniques we use. The first one that is algorithm and second one flow chart. Algorithm and flow chart, these are the two problem solving techniques. So algorithm क्या है? What is meant by algorithm? Algorithm is a set of instructions which are written in a simple English language. Algorithm is what? A step-by-step logic for a program to solve a specific problem. कोई भी प्रॉब्लम अगर हमको सॉल्व करना है तो उसका स्टेप बाय स्टेप सॉल्यूशन हम क्या बोल सकते हैं? एल्गोरिदम बोलते हैं. और फ्लो चार्ट क्या है? ग्राफिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ एल्गोरिदम. उस एल्गोरिदम को ही हम कन्वर्ट करते हैं ग्राफिकल फ्लो रिप्रेजेंटेशन में, उसको हम बोलते हैं फ्लो चार्ट. So flowchart is a good problem solving techniques. A sequence of steps in algorithm is maintained or represented in the diagrammatic manner. उसको हम बोल सकते हैं flowchart. So algorithm and flowchart, these two ways हम क्या कर सकते हैं? टेक्निक्स हैं जो भी किसी भी प्रॉब्लम को हम सॉल्व करने के लिए यूज करते हैं. और अदर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग टेक्निक्स क्या है? What are the different other problem solving techniques? So some other problem solving techniques are trial and error technique. So trial and error is known as generate and test. It is the way of solving the problem through repeated attempts and trying variant data on sequence of steps until you are successful. So every time we are going to try, we generate the error, again we are try, generate the error, again we are try. Likewise we are going to try an error. So generate and test. So this is one of the way, another way to solve the particular problems. Second way is divide and conquer techniques. So it is the useful when the problem is bigger and can take longer time to identify and solve. So whatever the problem is there, we are going to divide the problem into sub problem, again into sub problem. That sub problem becomes is one of the solution, and once it happens, then we are going to conquer it, merge it. That is divide and conquer technique. Next one, merging the solutions. So idea behind this is what? Combine the existing solutions. Whatever the existing solutions we have, we are going to just combine it, merge them on a single steps. That is what we call as merging the solution. Building block approach. It combines the idea of solving analogy and divide and conquer techniques. This technique is basically checks if any solutions for smaller pieces of the problem exist. So building block approach, like building blocks, when we create one steps, another step, likewise we are going to building block approach we are going to use to solve the techniques problems. Now brainstorming techniques is very it's a group activity actually. It's a basically brainstorm technique is a completely group activity. Group members are gathered together and discuss any problem and give a proper solution. So it's a brainstorming discussion activity. And the last one, the next one, that is solve by analogy. This is a sixth one. The idea behind this technique is that look for existing solution for similar type of problem. If the similar type of problem is there, so look for that existing solution and apply it in our program. So these are what some other problem solving techniques over here. Okay. Now here we learn the problem is exactly what, and there are various problem solving techniques. The basic problem solving technique is algorithm and flowchart. Apart from this, there are 6 problem solving techniques. So in the next lecture we'll go for what other part, that is algorithm, data structure and program. So whenever we are going to convert any problem to the program, we have to follow the 5 steps. That means what is exactly mean of problem, analyze the problem, steps solving the problem, and then we'll go for algorithm, data structure, and then we'll go for actual designing of problem. So thank you for watching this video. In the next lecture we'll go for the next part.